Something unusual today. We're going to be talking about how to profit from others' failures. And that's kind of a unique situation for starters, I would think. But it's even better because Brian Appleton is doing the report. I'm going to tell you a little bit about Brian so you know who I'm talking about. He is quite an unusual guy. He's got 3 or 4 things going for him. He's a young guy out in Iowa. Young, I mean, everybody's young to me anymore, but anyhow, he is has a consulting company that he does himself for social media. He's helped me a little bit on social media. Lord knows I need it. He's a partner with Jason Cass at Agents Influence. You're going to hear more about that as time comes on. These guys are really inbound marketing people, you know, social networking people. Jason and Ryan Hanley are other partners with him on something called Grow, which you'll hear about eventually, not today, but and then finally on Insurance Agency Mastermind. And that's why I called him and got Brian to work with me on this so that we could talk about Mastermind, because I never had heard of those words. So Brian, start us out, will you?
Well, thank you, George, and it's good to be here. And before we can get to, you know, you said we've got a very unique thing today, talking about how can we profit from others' failures. Sounds totally foreign, right? Before I can get to that point, before I can get to that point where I talk about how agents can do that, I want to take a step back and just a model that's really affecting a lot of insurance agents, not just agents, but business owners in general. What I've seen in talking to a lot of agents and what a lot of agency owners probably experience is this thing I call the ceiling of complexity. And if you haven't heard of it, basically as you look at this page, as you know, you start out as a new agent, you're totally in growth mode. That's all you're doing. You're wanting sales, wanting to grow your agency. But as time goes on, as you become more successful, the problem is that you start to spend more and more time getting caught up in daily tasks, doing things that don't really move your business ahead, that next big leap, that next big thing to add profitability, to growth, to do the things you want to do. And the funny thing about this model as you look at it, as you go from top to bottom down towards more of a ceiling of complexity, is that it can happen at any income level. You know, agents that are making 1/10 of other agents may already be hitting their ceiling of complexity. So you can definitely profit from learning from other people's failure at any stage in this process right here. And we're going to talk more about that as I go through this.
Well, I think it's a terrific way to look at each of our business lines. I really hadn't thought of it that way, the ceiling of complexity that I had it, but you're right. I mean, you do end up, well, go ahead, sorry.
No, that's okay. Yeah, I think it's great. A lot of agents don't think of their business this way. But on the next page, we're talking about profit from others' failure, and this is what I'm really talking about is as you go through your levels of complexity, you're going to have challenges, problems that come up. And when you need to solve a problem, you really have 2 choices. And what happens is it goes back to all what we learned back in elementary school is failing's bad. You know, we're always told if you fail on a test, you've done something bad, you're not doing well. I believe, and a lot of entrepreneurs think the same way, it's totally different in the world of when you're running your own business, even if you're an agent within an agency, you're kind of running your own small business within that agency. So I believe the best in business know how to fail really, really well. They know how to fail quickly. And when you have a problem come up, there's going to be 2 ways to solve it. There's either the long way where you have to learn through your own trial and error. And sometimes in your business you have to do this no matter what. But the other way, I believe, is the fast track, the track that few know how to really get on and to move their business ahead forward quickly and getting past the problems. And that's by learning from someone else's experience, someone that's already been there, someone that's tried it and failed and now knows the quicker way to getting to success. And the fast track is really through mastermind groups, and I'll talk more about what mastermind groups are on the next page.
All right, well, in my career, I have to tell you, I've tried it both ways. I've had the long way and the fast track way. And you're right, faster's better. I mean, there's no doubt about that. Yeah, I hadn't heard about mastermind groups before. How do you define them?
Well, the next page here, George, we're gonna. I got a quick video here that's going to show all the people watching a little bit more about what it is.
Perfect.
Do you know about one of the greatest tools that for centuries has been used by the most successful people who make the most money and have the most power? And did you know that today it only takes about 2 hours a month to use this tool to do the same? Let me ask you a question. Do you know what Henry Ford, Harvey Firestone, and Thomas Edison all had in common? And do you know what this has to do with being in the top 10% of all insurance agents? What these people all have in common is that they know 100%, without a doubt, how to get the very best strategies quickly and effectively for the greatest increases to their income. And they do it all while investing the least amount of time and resources possible. This means that these people absolutely blow by their competition. Why? Because their competition wastes a lot of time failing, many times over. This is a huge waste of their resources because they didn't know the direct path to success. So how do the very best and most successful do it? The answer? Through mastermind groups. Now, what is a mastermind group, you might be asking yourself? Well, if you've ever read Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, or are part of a mastermind group now, you know the kind of power I am talking about. A mastermind group is a gathering of like-minded individuals, a group of people that meet and share ideas on a regular basis, people who want to see each other succeed just as bad as themselves, and know that together they can all achieve more through this amazing power. In the 1900s, Henry Ford, Harvey Firestone, and Thomas Edison held private meetings for 2 weeks a year in a remote area way out in the woods. During this time, they would share each other's pains and frustrations and build plans to overcome them and make more money. Can you imagine having access and collaborating with those amazing minds?
Well, that's fantastic. I mean, this first time any presenters has ever used a video in the middle of the presentation. I like it. That's really neat. Can you imagine those three legends of creativity getting together to learn from each other? I hadn't heard of that either. I mean, that's a new one on me. Are you suggesting then that agents and others start their own mastermind groups?
Well, yeah, that's really what I want to do today is help other agents understand how they can create their own masterminds. And it doesn't have to be just with other agents. It can be with local business owners as well. But a lot of you, have probably seen that Warren Buffett and Bill Gates are great friends. The best in business know how to connect, just like Henry Ford and Harvey Firestone and Thomas Edison were all became good friends and shared ideas. If you want to become the best in what you do, you have to connect with other business owners. You have to get feedback. You have to be willing to put yourself out there and really learn more from others as well. So what I want to do today is just talk to you. I'm in a local mastermind with some other business owners in my area, and it's been huge for helping propel my success. I want to help other agents understand that in their local area they can easily start a mastermind, and it only takes, as the video said, a few hours a month to really get a lot of high leverage feedback and learn a ton from others in your area. So what can you do? Really look for 3 to 5 people that are like you, like-minded, driven, successful in business, want to become more successful. Really look for those kind of people, and there's lots of ways to do it. You can look online, you can check blogs, even post an ad in your local newspaper. I'm sure people will reach out to you if they're interested in doing the same. You have to meet regularly. It can't be a sporadic thing every once in a while. Set the dates, put it on your calendar, and it can be as much as once a week or as little as once a month. But I suggest at least once a month at the least, and make it a regular thing. Always have a structure. Have a structure to the meeting. Make sure that everybody, you have timed amounts of time for what each person will speak and for feedback. And you go through that same thing through every meeting and really make it effective for the time. And then the biggest thing through all this is setting goals and hold each other accountable. Too many people do not set goals. They don't say them on a regular basis, and they're not held accountable for them. That's the way we really get ahead, is by setting personal goals and striving for them and being held accountable. And that's one of the best things that can happen in a mastermind group.
Yeah, I really like that. I like hold each other accountable. I hadn't thought of that either. That's the kind of mastermind group I have with my wife, incidentally, who holds me accountable all the time. But I'm just kidding. It's another good idea.
Yeah, great. And the last concept I want to talk about today is something maybe a lot of agents listening to this aren't aware of as well, is this idea of abundance versus scarcity. And this is how we can take the mastermind concept and apply it to other areas in our business. Because really the mastermind concept is just about sharing information openly and not being afraid to take a little bit of criticism. And there's this whole idea of abundance versus scarcity. I hear agents all the time saying, well, I really have to protect who my clients are, and I can't tell anybody, and I have to be very careful about what I say about our agency and things like that. We have to understand we live in an information age, and there's this whole concept called the Wendy's concept. And the idea is Wendy's was spending millions of dollars a year trying to find the best locations in every city to put up a new store. And finally they realized, well, why don't we just wait to see where McDonald's puts up a store and then put one up right across the street? And they just started doing that and saving millions of dollars. And guess what? McDonald's really didn't care at all. I mean, why is it every town you go to, all the fast food restaurants are in the same location? It's because none of them care. They all know, they have this abundance mindset that it'll just drive more business to them as well, because everybody's coming to the same area looking for food. They're hungry. So it works for all of them. So if they had a scarcity mindset, they wouldn't want anybody in their area. So it's the idea of you have to be comfortable with what your product offering is. You can't hide the secret sauce anymore because we live in the age of the internet and people can find everything. So that we are finding the businesses that are more willing to share about as much as they can about their business are the ones that are succeeding today. They're blogging, they're telling people about what's happening with their business, they're letting people know, because you can't just set yourself apart from products anymore. It has to be more than that. So I'm telling agents, use the same concept as an agent and in your agency to be more abundant. Don't be scarcity, and I think it's going to really help your success as well.
I always heard one thing, and I've used it time and again. It says they can steal everything that I'm doing, but they cannot steal my mind. So I'm leaving them sweating and stealing a year and a half behind. And that is so true, isn't it? Because what are they going to do? You're going to be ahead of them, but you're going to get from them. That's a beautiful thing. Well, how can people know more about what you're doing?
Sure. Well, even though I really stress agents to start their own mastermind in their local areas, we're also helping to connect agents across the country in a mastermind as well. Really want to help agents, really helping agents in that growth mode, that young early start agents, but we also have people that are, a little more veteran like yourself, George, that are part of it too. And we really want to build a community where we're openly sharing about what's happening with each agent, how they can grow, how they can get advice. So a first step I would say is go to insuranceagentmastermind.com. You can get a free interview there that I did with member Jason Cass. It's a great interview. He gives away 3 or 4 things that you can apply to your business right away and add thousands of dollars to your bottom line. And then the other big thing I would say is if anyone's interested in social media consulting, learning more about what I do, or just connecting with me, feel free to email me at brian@insuranceagentmastermind.com, and I'll get back to you and help any way I can.
Thanks, Brian. I love what you guys are doing, and I think it's really going to be exciting. It's going to have a wonderful future for the industry, and you're going to help it. Well, let's tell you about next week. We're going to do this every time from now on. Next week, we are going to have Cal Durland. She is a Director of Industry Relations at Accord, and she says that Accord is a lot more than forms, and you can hear about the other industry assets you may or may not be using, and they are, she's really good. You're going to love that one. Also, while there, you can go back to our email, and you can go to YouTube there and see these Monday mornings anytime you'd like. And they'll be archived on there, and they'll also be archived on agenciesonline.biz, which is our website. Also, when you go back to the email, you can go to the Insurance Community Center weekly quiz flash, and that's a lot of fun, and you'll enjoy that. And you can also click on our E&O tip of the week. So, Brian, again, I thank you. It's a good job, and I think you opened the eyes to a lot of future activities to a lot of people, and I appreciate it. And for the rest of you, I'll see you next week.